And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back tonight my friend, the incredible author, Alex Segura, here to give us the inside scoop on his brand new book, an instant USA Today bestseller, Alter Ego. Alex, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Sarah, thanks for having me. It's always good to be here. Always good to see you and to chat with you. Alter Ego is what we're calling a standalone sequel to Secret Identity, which won the LA Times Book Prize a couple of years ago. Yes, yay. Um, you don't have to have read that. There's no homework required. It's a thriller set in the it's a thriller set in the comic book industry of the modern day, and it follows Annie Bustamante, who is a former comic book artist who has gone on to great things on her own. She's a film director, she's a mom. She's really moved past comics, but has this great love for this one obscure character that really brought her into the medium called the Legendary Lynx. And so she's between projects. Her last movie got shelved for tax reasons, which is kind of ripped from the headlines. And so she's back in New York with her daughter, and she's pecking away at this fan comic, really. She's drawing it for fun based on this obscure character that she doesn't think anyone cares about called the Legendary Lynx. When out of the blue, she gets an email from a company called Triumph Entertainment, and they tell her, hey, we own the rights to this character. We know you're a fan. We'd love for you to come in, meet with our team, and be part of this kind of cinematic universe that we're relaunching. So to Annie, it seems like a dream come true. It's her favorite character. It's based on the one comic she knows that was also created by, written by a Cuban American woman like her. But as soon as she takes the meeting, the red flags start to pop up. It seems like the company doesn't seem to know the character, and she starts getting these anonymous messages through Signal, which is an encrypted messaging app, and the username is called Apparition. And she knows, because she's a fan of the Lynx, that Apparition is the ghost-like character that trains the Lynx. And Apparition keeps telling Annie, like, be careful, you're getting into something complex and deadly that could put you and your daughter at risk. And Apparition is proven right as things get more and more complicated as Annie digs deeper into the story of the Lynx and who actually created her and who is behind this new company. So that's the setup, and you don't have to have read Secret Identity, but if you have, you'll know a lot of the kind of plot stuff.
Oh my God. Well, we love those Easter eggs, Alex. And I can't wait to talk to you about all of the delicious details. But first, I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting to 7 different destinations across
Wow.
Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We are everywhere bringing a mystery and thriller fun. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you are in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, and because Mondays can be murder, we are going to Monday a little less painful. Get your week off to a killer start where the pages and the days are just flying by. And this is, in fact, our very last episode of 2024. We are going out with a big bang with Alex Segura. Yay, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. So if you've been here before, my mystery, my mavens, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So let's ask Alex about his writing process, his creative process, winning that LA Times Book of the Year. What is he a comic book fan? I need to know all of the things, plus about this Annie Bustamante character, aka my new best friend, Annie.
Oh, good.
So any questions that you have going in the comments, and oh my God, the praise for this book is just off the charts. And again, just burning up the charts, hitting that USA Today bestseller list. Like what?
That was great.
Oh my God, it was so great. The scream I screamed was so exciting.
You and me both.
Yay! So any questions? Oh my goodness, we have legendary book critic Arlene Cogdell in the
yay.
Hi, Aline. We're so happy you're here. Welcome to the conversation. And we have Sharon Bishop, a maven by day, a reader by day, maven by night.
Hi, Sharon.
Joining us from YouTube as well. Hi, everybody. We have Robin in the audience. We have Elizabeth. We have Paul. We have Jane. Oh my God, we have so many people. Hi, everybody. All right, Alex, let's jump right in because I have a list of questions. And if I don't get all, we're going to, DiVello's going to be upset. So let's jump right in. What is this fascination with comic book characters? Were you a little kid reading those comic book characters? Are you secretly the Lynx? What's going on? Tell us all the things.
Well, look, I mean, the mysteries I grew up with comics, yes, 100%. My first comic was an Archie comic at the grocery store checkout that my mom bought for me, and that opened up a lifelong passion for comics, superhero comics, just comics in general. And when I had finished my first 5 novels, the Pete Fernandez series, and I wrote a Star Wars novel. After that, I was like, well, my next book, what is it going to be? And I'm drawn to mysteries that transport you somewhere else, whether it's a different industry, a different culture, a different time, a different world. And I thought people would be fascinated by comics, the industry, like open up the hood and see what's under there beyond what's on the page and what's on the TV screen and what's in the movie theater. Um, so that was Secret Identity, and that was that was a lost period of comics. It doesn't exist anymore. And I thought it would be interesting to take people to the present and show them what comics are like today and how comics are such powerful ideas and IP and are so sought after in terms of movies and television, and how even the most obscure characters like the Lynx, which is a very obscure character in this story, could be very valuable to a company that's looking for that kind of $1 billion break.
Mm. Well, it's so funny because my husband is such a fan of the
Oh,
comic books.
good.
And as soon as any, comic book movies come out, he is at the movie theater, and he, for whether it's the Marvel or whether, I mean, he knows all
Right.
of the characters, all of the backstory. And I once asked him, I was like, "What is it that you love?" And he was like, "What I love is that at its heart, these are very, even though people can, fly or have special powers, these are
Hmm.
stories about good versus evil, about triumph, about trying, and about
Yeah.
very human struggle." What is it that you love, Alex?
I mean, I think one of the misconceptions about comics is people think it's a genre like mystery or sci-fi. It's actually just it's a medium. It's a way to tell a story in the way TV or books or audio or movies. But I was always drawn to superhero comics, this idea of the underdog gaining some special abilities and being able to do right and help others and help themselves. Like, Spider-Man is a teenager when he starts. He's like this science nerd kid who's granted these abilities, and he still has to pay rent. He still has to help take care of his Aunt May. So I'm really drawn to those kind of complicated characters that are struggling, but still have this gift that they're trying to use to help others.
I love that. Before we go any further, I have to tell
Yeah.
everyone that we have something really exciting, and that is the ability to send signed books. So Alex
Yes.
was at Murder by the Book just a few days ago, our partner in crime, and he signed some extra copies. So
Hmm.
John and I were just talking at the store, and we are going to be able to ship signed copies for anyone who orders books tonight. So
Amazing.
this is really exciting because I always say books make the best gift, but signed books really make the very best gift. And we
Yeah,
are
and we had a
able.
lovely event there a couple last week with Abby. Abby Endler did the Q&A. We had a nice crowd. It was really Murder by the Book is just the best.
Yay! And because they are our streaming partner, we are able to offer those signed books available and just in time to ship for the holidays. So we've got Christmas and Hanukkah in just a week and a half, and you can get your signed book right here from Murder by the Book. And that is a perfect gift for the comic book or mystery lover, or just good storytelling lover in your life. So whether you're watching with us on YouTube or Facebook, here is the link to click and order and get your mitts on the world that Alex has created in Alter Ego. So we're going to come back to that, but I did just want to get that to everyone. Oh, Robin is saying she's heading into the post office while I listen. This is a perfect way. I was just standing in line at the post office myself.
Oh yeah,
Perfect. We'll keep you entertained while that line is
very
moving.
relatable.
That is very relatable.
It is.
Okay, so Alex, let's talk about this Annie Bustamante character. So first
Hmm.
of all, my sister's name is Annie, same spelling. So I
Oh,
was like,
nice.
we don't see that many Annies out there in the world. Let's talk about her. So what is your process for creating? Tell us all about Annie. What made you want to create her? Why did you want to write a woman lead character? Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the challenges for Alter Ego was it is a standalone, but it's also picking up after Secret Identity. So I wanted to make sure that the character was compelling enough to merit the story existing. I think, I was so happy with the response to Secret Identity, critically and just from my peers. But I really, if I was going to do a sequel, standalone or not, I wanted it to feel essential. And that meant having a protagonist that felt really different from Carmen, and compelling in her own way. So Annie is in recovery. She's sober. She's a parent. She's got an 11-year-old daughter. She has, unlike Carmen, who's starting out in Secret Identity, Annie has found great great success in her field as a director, as a storyboard artist, and as a comic book writer and artist. So I wanted to show how things had changed over the years in comics for creators and particularly women creators. So someone like Annie, who has built a great reputation, has more opportunities in comics, but it's still not perfect. It's still somewhat challenging. And I wanted to reflect that. But also, Annie's complicated. She's had a lot of trauma in her past. She's a single mom. She was raised by a single mom. She's obviously gone through her recovery process. I wanted to show that in a way that felt true, that wasn't like, oh, I flipped the light switch on and now I'm okay. I think sometimes books gloss over that and it's not really true to how it happens. But also, I wanted to really show parenthood, and I wanted a protagonist who was a parent who has to deal with the things that complicate. She couldn't just run out the door to investigate the crime. You have to get a babysitter. You have to kind of deal with, but it's also so much more than that. It's the bond that she has with Margot, her daughter, and it's a book about legacy and kind of generational trauma and how we push back on the things that happen to us to maybe do them better are when we're a parent. And I think that's an important part of Annie's story, and also just reclaiming this character that meant so much to her and reclaiming it for Carmen, who doesn't have the opportunity to do it herself.
I love that. John is joining us from Northeast Ohio on
Oh, hey,
Facebook. Hi,
John.
John. Welcome to the conversation. John, where's your Facebook profile picture? It has disappeared. John's one of my mavens. Good to see you, sir.
Nice.
But where's your picture, John? You need to update that.
Incognito mode.
Oh my God, he's an incognito. Oh my God,
Yeah,
maybe John is a superhero.
maybe.
He's
Yeah,
this is his yeah, this is his regular self. Later
he's got to
he'll
work on being secretive with his identity.
exactly. Okay, let's talk about your creative process, Alex.
Hmm.
So, because you are a parent yourself and you
Hmm.
wanted to address parenting, is has as a writer, are you sitting down and getting interrupted by those, I need food, I need a bottle, I need to go to school, I need to go to a play
Yeah.
date, or or are you like, hey, when the door is closed, don't knock?
Oh no, we don't have a. There's no door in my office. It's like it's an apartment, so I mean they can kind of walk in if they want to. But I think I've just learned to treat writing as something that can happen in sprints. Like I don't over ceremonialize the process. I don't need certain music playing. I don't. This is not a criticism of folks that do need that. But for me, I have to find the quickest path to the document. And so literally the document or whatever I'm working on is open at all times on my computer. And if I'm at the dinner table or if I have 5 minutes in bed where I can crank on a few pages or a few thousand words, I will do that. And also not beating myself up. I don't think you have to write 1,000 words a day or X amount of words a day to be a quote unquote writer. I think you do the work and you know what the work is, and you can kind of be aware if you're slacking or not. But it's great when I have a couple hours to write, but I don't. That's not the minimum, and that's not the requirement.
How do you drop in that quickly? I'm unable to drop in quickly. I struggle with concentration,
Yeah, yeah,
even
yeah,
on
yeah.
a good day. So, how are you able to? Is that just how your brain works, or is that a struggle for you too?
It's not easy. It is how my brain works most of the time. It is how my brain works, but it's not always easy, I should say. Sometimes I'm distracted, or sometimes I'm stressed out, or sometimes I'm worried about what I have to do in 20 minutes. So the challenge is eliminating other distractions and trying to hyper focus. Social media does not help. The computer doesn't help. I sometimes have to turn off the Wi-Fi and just focus in, but some days are easier than others. And I think the days that I'm jazzed about something are easier when I'm really like motivated to dive in. But those aren't every day, and we have to write every day because it's a job.
Exactly. So on because the days that you're jazzed when you've been like, oh, how will I do this? How will I do this? And it clicks, and then you're like, yay, and the
Yeah.
fingers are flying, and you're in that state, the flow state. It's so
Hmm.
exciting. But on those days when it is hard, what tools or techniques or strategies do you use to get through those tough moments?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I think I'm not a big believer in writer's block. I think but obviously it affects people and it affects, sometimes I do get stuck and I'm not as productive. And I think in those moments you just have to step away for a second. You take a walk, you listen to some music, you do something with your hands, wash the dishes, do some clean around the house. When all else fails, I pick up one of my favorite books and I just read a few pages, and that really gets me in the zone for why I'm doing this. You're reminded of the power of story, the power of words, and I have a real soft spot for powerful and good prose. I'm a plot guy. Like I love great plot, but what really like lulls me into a book is when the word choice is perfect. I think there's some writers that do it really well. I have to work at it. And I don't say that, I say that honestly, like, I have to really kind of chip at it and make sure that the words are good. I think it comes easily to some other writers. And when I read those books, I'm like, okay, I want to try to do that.
Alex, I totally agree. I
Hmm.
love it when the pages are flying by and I'm like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
no spoilers, but Alex's book starts out with a murder, not Annie, but
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sucked in. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Or
Oh,
I
thank
know
you.
that this person is going to die, but then I'm thinking maybe they won't die. Like maybe they'll be saved at the last minute.
You,
I don't
you
know.
hope.
And I really did hope, Alex, but
Yeah.
sadly,
Yeah.
Alex, aka Merciless Alex, did not have that compassion for us.
Well, that's
Um,
the challenge we have, right? To build, how do we build suspense in meaningful ways? Like, how do we make the reader, even someone like you, like you're in the biz, okay, this is what he's doing, the craft of it, but you still hold out hope. That's really good to hear.
so what do you think the secret is?
I think it's giving those little details that do give you hope. Like, those
Mm,
intimate little notes. Like, I think the opening prologue you're talking about, she the star of the prologue, without giving too much away,
yeah.
like you get little details about her life and how she wants to be somewhere else, and like little kind of mundane bits, and then suddenly bam, something happens, and then the pacing gets much faster. It starts off a little like tired. She's tired, she's been on the
Yeah.
road for a long time, so you get a lot of like not info dump, but like just information about what she's struggling with. And then boom, you have the moment of impact, literal impact, and then things start to move a lot faster. Like the words are shorter, the sentences are shorter, the breaks come faster, and then you close with a nice visual, and that's usually what I think that's what kind of keeps people turning pages.
And Alex, that's actually a really good point that you bring up. It is the mundane details
Hmm.
because those are relatable. We've all been
Yeah.
tired, overwhelmed, or just want to be somewhere else. That it's like, oh my God, I know what that feels like. So then when we're identifying with that person, then we're already caring for that person. That's a really good point. Thank you.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
think
think
you want to lull the reader into a sense of comfort. Like they know they're reading a thriller, they know they're reading the prologue of a thriller, so they're going to be bracing for something. But if you lull them into thinking like, oh, she's just driving down the street, like trying to upload a file to her cloud, then they're going to be surprised, or at least like shaken from their reverie.
exactly, which I think is counterintuitive because lulling someone into a moment of comfort with mundane details is not the first thing that you think of when you think about building
Right.
suspense. And yet it works.
Hmm.
This is really interesting.
Thank you.
Renee, welcome to the conversation. Join us from Facebook. She says, Alex, who came up with that wonderful title? Yeah, tell us the story of the title Alter Ego.
Yeah, so it's kind of a response to secret identity. Obviously, both terms are big tropes or elements of superhero stories, which is a big part of both novels. I have to give credit where credit is due to my editor, Zach Wagman. For a long time, the shorthand I was using for alter ego was secret origin. And he said very smartly, it's going to be confusing. Like people will say, well, I already bought secret identity, so I'm not going to buy secret. It's just like it's too close for comfort. And so he suggested alter ego, which is very synonymous with secret identity. And that's really what the book is. It's the other side of that coin. So I think it works really well. I really, the cover to me is perfect because it just kind of it touches on the same color scheme as secret identity, but flips it. And you see Annie like front and center. So I think they did a really good job.
Oh, I love that. Renee, what a great question.
Yeah.
You guys, I want to talk about some of the praise that this book has earned because the praise is absolutely incredible. So let's kick off with this first one from Zoraida Cordova, who is the USA Today bestselling authors of Star Wars, The High Republic, Convergence. Let's take a peek at this. Alex Segura knows how to write a propulsive mystery that hooks you from chapter one. Most of all, I love Segura's deep and compassionate portrayal of Annie Bustamante, a reluctant heroine I wholeheartedly rooted for until the very end. Alter Ego is a must read. Again, going back to that compassionate portrayal of this every woman that we
Hmm.
are cheering for. So I absolutely love that. And not the only one. Raving Richter Laval also chiming in with these words, saying Alter Ego is a love letter to comics, creation, and the mystery of family. Again, talking about that relationship that you've created between
Hmm.
Annie as a single mother, her daughter, Annie's own,
Stuff.
Her
We all
stuff.
have stuff, yeah.
You really do.
Hmm.
Alex Segura writes with such assurance and joy, a sly wit, and a clear love for the characters. I was pulled in from page one and I tore through this moving tale. One thing that's always fascinated me is the ability for books to convey energy. We're talking about
Hmm.
pages, paper. There's not a living, breathing thing in our hands. It's a dead tree that's been
Yeah.
pulled and turned into pages. And yet, it does feel like a living, breathing thing. And that energy, and I think it's your own compassion, Alex. I think it's your
Oh,
own kindness that like, comes through those pages. And I loved how Victor talked about that, about how you applied your own compassion to the rendering of Annie and how we all felt that.
yeah. Both of those blurbs are really powerful. And, usually I think people think about blurbs, especially if you're in the business, you think about them as really transactional stuff. And they
Yeah.
are always to some degree, but I made a point of reaching out to authors that I thought would appreciate the book. And if they did
Mm,
endorse the book, it would feel really special. Like Zoraida's a friend. She writes these kind of characters. Victor also writes in comics and writes really amazing novels. And people like Michael Connolly, like just like like he's a legend. So having him kind of bless the book was so important and meaningful to me. Like it didn't really matter if it moved a copy or not, which I'm sure it helped. But I think with these stories, if you want to write a great mystery, it starts with character. And if you're doing a mystery, that's driven by setting and character, if your character doesn't resonate or feel three-dimensional or unique or conflicted, the plot is not going to save you. Like it doesn't matter how many twists and turns because people will just get off the ride if they don't care. And that's something I think about a lot is just how interesting is this character and why would anyone follow them around? So that's the big challenge with any book.
well, speaking of Michael Connolly,
Oh yeah.
here is did someone say Michael Connolly? Here's his blurb. I have it ready to go. He says, no
Okay.
one is writing books as unique and riveting as Alex Segura. Alter Ego is a smart, fantastic ride through a mysterious world that you may not know, but you will feel totally comfortable in thanks to his creative genius. It pulls you in and keeps you turning the pages. I absolutely love that. He's not the
Yeah.
only superstar weighing in. David Baldacci saying the suspense and tension in Alter Ego builds slowly, like the best of Hitchcock's films. I love this one because I'm an old film nerd. Cary
Mhm.
Grant was my first crush. I
Oh, nice.
love Hitchcock. And so I loved that Baldacci likened you to a Hitchcock film, saying all the setups and foreshadowing explode in this finely tuned plot. Annie and Margot, her daughter, are true
Yeah.
gems steeped in authenticity and visceral emotion. Segura is an excellent writer and he brings his A game to this rollicking page ripper. Don't miss it.
Yeah,
Yay.
that was definitely a squeal when you get the blurb in your inbox kind of moment. I mean,
Yeah.
Hitchcock was a big inspiration point because I think one of the challenges too of writing a sequel to something like Secret Identity is I didn't want it to feel just tonally the same. Secret Identity is a very kind of slow burn noir, very limited settings, like very hyper focused on Carmen, and this Alter Ego is much more of a page turning thriller, but also a character driven thriller in that Hitchcockian tradition. Like I watched a lot of Hitchcock, watched a lot of Brian De Palma. Like what propels these
Same.
characters, you know, to what is a thriller? A thriller doesn't have to be exploding cars and plane crashes and things like that. It can very much be character driven, and I think that was the challenge.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, we have two good questions from Renee here. First, first for me, Renee
Okay.
has noticed that I have moved my background. Renee, you're exactly right. I had a different location than my office. Yes. So the joy of apartment living is that if you have a spouse or partner and
Hmm.
they want to, I don't know, do their workout in the space that you usually use to do your interviews, we must shift around each other. These are the
Yeah,
joys
I'm
of
in my
apartment
bedroom.
living. So exactly. So I am doing this from my bedroom while my husband does a workout. And Renee, you're very observant. Thank you for noticing. And then she has one for you. She wants to know, okay, so talking about parenting, I'm scrolling back to get it.
Hmm.
How old are your kids and what do they read or what do you read to them? What a great question.
Oh yeah, that is a great question. My kids are 8 and 5, a boy and a girl. Both of them, I'm very thankful that they do love to read. My son is a voracious reader. We have that in common. Like I was like that when I was his age. My daughter's
Me too.
starting to read, so that's exciting. We read a
Yay.
lot of comics. We read a lot of old comics. Like he's into like the classic Marvel stuff, like Spider-Man and X-Men and the Hulk and Thor, even though I was not really into those characters, Thor and Hulk as a kid. So he's kind of blazing his own trail. but we read a lot of like older Silver Age. By Silver Age, I mean from the 60s and early 70s comics like Doom Patrol or Legion of Superheroes. And some of those stories are just fun and they're all ages. Like there's no like questionable content. It's just really entertaining stuff.
Renee saying that is so cool. That is so cool. And also a chance for you to teach your son, sometimes, Hulk doesn't have to smash. Sometimes
Yeah,
Hulk
he can
can
hug.
take a deep breath and, and meditate instead. Hulk, there's lessons, there's a room for lessons in there, Alex.
Yeah, get in touch with your your inner karma. Yeah.
Although I do quote to my husband, if I'm mad, I will say, DiVello mad, DiVello smash. And
Yeah,
then,
he doesn't want. He shouldn't want that. Yeah,
you really don't. You really
yeah.
don't.
Things to avoid.
Thanks for all the hearts up on Facebook, you guys. We have other incredible blurbs here from Caroline Kepnes, the creator
Oh
of
yeah.
You. She said, not only does Alter Ego contain the best Jewel reference in fiction ever, it's the kind of book that makes you feel so much. A creative and inspiring mystery that is also smart and romantic. This book arrived at a perfect time for me, and I could not stop thinking about it. What I loved about that is that Caroline Kepnes, who I actually met in person for the first time at an event
She's
this
wonderful.
summer,
Yeah.
she's so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's sort of known for her ability to go into those dark places and create characters that people, really resonate. And so I loved seeing that she couldn't stop thinking about your book, Alex. That's really cool. Oh, thanks for all the love on hearts on Facebook, you guys. Yay.
Yeah, one of the things that I haven't really talked about much on tour or during interviews is that there's a whole kind of different timeline. We hop back and forth between Annie's past from her childhood through high school through college. It's not her life story, but it's really about her relationship with her friend Danny and how things change and evolve. And that was a really important part. I think it's very much the spine of the story, like her and Danny, but also in the present, it's her and Margot, her daughter, and that all weaves together. And so I think Carolyn really responded to that part, but not just the music reference, but the heart of that. And I really was grateful for her to note that she noticed it.
Yay. Sharon is saying she loves the Hulk and Thor. Oh, good. Okay, you're in the right place. This is the right
welcome.
Book for welcome. Yeah, this is the book for you. So once again, you can get your signed copy.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect gift for self or others in time for the holiday. And again, what a perfect gift to give, not to the comic book lover in your life, to the mystery lover in your life, to just the person who loves great storytelling. Because I think, Alex, that what I also started to say, and we got derailed by so much other great conversation, is that I love it when the pages are flying, but when there is the perfect, word choice or sentence, I love to pause and really drink that in, and also marvel at great storytelling and compassionate storytelling. So that's one thing that I really love, and that I think we have in common, and I really love about your writing. So thank you. So again, you guys, the perfect gift for self or others, the mystery lover in your life, or you, the mystery lover, is right.
Treat yourself.
Is right here. Treat yourself the perfect gift. Signed copies of Alter Ego right here. And oh my goodness, we have award-winning author Tracy Clark in the house.
Tracy.
Hi,
Tracy. One of the nicest people on the planet.
Oh my God, I love Tracy Clark. Hi, Tracy Clark. We're so happy you're here. Thanks for all
Tracy had a new book that hit very recently too.
Oh my God, I love Tracy's new series, Harriet. Oh my God, my best friend Harriet. Yeah. So good.
A really great series, yeah.
Oh my God, I love a police procedural, and I love Harriet. So that is perfect. Oh, Renee, yes, lots of hearts and lots of love. So anyway, okay, yes, Tracy, welcome to the conversation. So you guys, the book is out now, and again, once again, whether you're watching with us on Facebook, we have on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram signed copies from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. So once again, here is that link, and you can get that gift yourself, or gift the mystery or thriller lover or comic book lover or just great storyteller in your life.
Anybody.
We are out of time. Time flies when you're having this much fun. Alex, thank you so much for coming on to give us the inside scoop on Alter Ego. Maven,
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It is such a pleasure to have you all. Thanks for spending your Mystery Monday. Oh, Renee was saying, when are we going to be back? Okay, so we are off for the holidays for the next 2 weeks, and I will be back with you all in January with a very lit lineup, a killer lineup, one might say. And we are going out of 224 2024 with a bang via Mr. Segura here.
What a way to go.
Exactly. And I'll be back with you in January. So I hope you have a wonderful, safe, warm, happy holiday season. May the days and the pages fly by. May you do whatever feeds your soul and find that time to read. And I will be back with you, my wonderful mavens, in January. Take very good care. Until then, happy holidays to you all as well.
Thanks, everybody.